What's up, Cyberspace Cadets? It's Irate Prostate in the house, and you know what that means? It's time for one more hot takes with the one and only Butter Baron, Big Fat Brian, also known as the Butter Baron. How are you today? Hoi, 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 hoi. You know, that kind of sounds Japanesey to me. I like it. Right? What? He's Romanian. Yes, he is. Yeah. Fuck.
Basically, hoi hoi hoi.
That's right. Big Fat Brian, once again, I fucked up.
Oh, did you have fucked up?
Yes, nobody.
You see what had happened was.
God damn it. That's my fault. I apologize to everybody there. So, Brian.
You can't hear Brian. They can't hear me.
They can hear you now, buddy. They can definitely hear you.
God damn it.
I know, man.
We had a whole thing and everything, and it was awesome, but I can't redo it now.
You were talking about V.
Hoi hoi hoi! No, it's done. That's the here's our intro.
Oh wow.
There you go, 5x5. Okay, what up, memes of destruction? We got Gulf City, Scott Marsh. We got let's see here, Kef. Am I saying this Kefkey correctly?
Yes.
Hey
Kefkey.
Brittany Breslin in the chat. We got Uzi Q as usual. How y'all doing?
Hey wifey.
Today we do have a special treat for you.
Oh, it is special in the modern sense of the word special. If you get my meaning. So you want to go through?
He called it retarded.
Those are your words. Okay, so I'm
gonna me too you.
just do it, man. Just do it.
He called these wonderful whammons who ran for Congress retarded. How dare he?
But yeah, the movie's knocked down the house, and the director is somebody known as Rachel Lears. I really don't know a lot about her. I tried to look up about her, and she is the primary director of this. It was produced by her and this guy named Robin Blotnick, and he was also helped with the editing. So it was kind of them together.
She is actually famous for another film.
Okay,
but
tell us about it.
It's nothing anyone's ever heard of.
Right.
I'm just saying. So I don't know, like the way, because I watched a couple interviews about her, just I was trying to figure out, what was going on here. What I had suspicions about her when, with the documentary and how it was portrayed and edited and all sorts of things. And the interviews kind of confirm those suspicions. So she is definitely left-leaning, and she is definitely... I don't want to say that this impacted her documentary, but it definitely felt like it slightly impacted her political beliefs, slightly impacted her documentary based off the way it was filmed.
Well, this film has been swept with the deluge of love from the, from the press, specifically the entertainment press, lauded at the Sundance and Southwest. This movie comes in highly recommended, highly rated, as being a top-notch documentary. I call bullshit. All right. And all right, before we get into this film, it focuses on 4 specific candidates for office. Okay, Amy Vilela for the I think it was, I want to say, a Senate seat in Nevada. It was a congressional seat in Nevada, Las Vegas, of course. Strong Democratic, strong. All these women were in strong Democratic. Pretty much, they were going up against the Democratic incumbents, right? Which tells me a lot about what's going on inside of the party right now. I don't know. It don't sound like a party to me. All right, and she's one that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, and then there's Cori Bush, who literally lived 10 blocks from Ferguson, where the hands up, don't shoot. That didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate to make fun of this shit. I mean, it's like, okay, y'all, what the fuck? But
no,
okay, no, she's okay. Actually, out of all the people in this, she and the lady from Nevada seem to be the most viable. This lady.
What? No. No. Okay.
Hold on. All right. Let me finish it out. All right. And then there's Paula Jean Swearingen from West Virginia.
My daddy was a coal miner.
Yeah, she's a coal miner's daughter, just like fucking Loretta Lynn. So, I mean, shit, she can't be all bad. And finally, last but not least, the future of our country, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah. Or as I like to call her, the Democratic Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's been used quite a bit with her.
Well, it's because she is. She's literally the exact same thing, but on the other side.
You think? I think.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I think Trump has more political savvy than she does.
I don't think so. I think that Donald Trump does the exact same thing that AOC does, which is spout what.
She backtracked. As a matter of fact, this week the Earth is going to be gone in 12 years if we don't do something.
Yes,
as a matter of fact,
it was a hyperbolic statement, and all of her followers know that. Have you ever heard that statement before?
Yeah, well, of course. I don't know. We can disagree on that shit. I don't. Anyway. What we can agree I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree.
You can disagree, but I can keep making the points that are like straight line points.
All right, so let me ask you this. All right, no, Brian. Let me ask you this. If she got elected, do you think that they would investigate her for 2 years for something that was literally fabricated by the opposition?
I absolutely think the Republicans would.
Yeah, if they were had control of the House, but they did. They had control of the House and the Senate with Trump, and they still went. Right. Well, do you see what I'm saying? If she got elected,
it doesn't matter whether or not you have control of the House or anything. You can still have inquiries into who you are because we have a Democratic. Well, we have a Republic.
Now what it is it's all about the way things are and the way things it's like. All right, I see. All right, I can see what you're saying. That she's a and that quote outsider candidate, right?
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's look at the term propaganda. Okay. The spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purposes of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause or to damage an opposing cause, a public action having such an effect. And, all right. So.
Oh, we got people that want to come in and talk about this movie with us. Do you want to hold off till
let's hold off till
another 6 minutes or so?
Let's hold off till the bottom of the hour. I don't know how many people we got.
The bottom of the hour. That's 45 minutes from now.
No, it isn't. That's 15 minutes from now.
Oh, Oh, okay.
The bottom of the hour is always the 30. The top of the hour is the odd. Like,
Well, I did not know that. I always assumed people were talking
learn
about the
something
end of
new
the
every
hour.
fucking day.
You're absolutely right. I did just learn that. Goddamn boomers.
I didn't make that up, man. It's, it's
I'm just messing with you. Don't worry, I just found out what Brazil nuts used to be called.
That's right.
I was like, wait, what? Whoa!
Yeah.
That's a little racist.
Yeah. But dude, I feel you. I could never crack them open. So I just didn't.
Yeah, don't look that up, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Definitely don't.
Well, it involves a racial slur that will, we're better than that. We're better than that, Brian.
I'm not saying we're better than that. I'm saying that I like the fact that we're able to do this every week, and I'd prefer not to lose the channel.
I feel you. I feel you, man. Okay, so every one of these candidates, and they really focused on AOC. All right, the film focuses pretty much, and that's what I'm going to refer to her as because her name is too fucking long to say. All right, just for economy purposes.
Yeah.
They kind of give like a little backstory about why each candidate is in the race, right? They don't talk about like why they were selected by the Justice Democrats to run for these against incumbent Democrats. They never got into that part, but they did talk. And each person pretty much, except for AOC, had a really personal reason for doing it. I didn't buy her, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. The Villela lady, her daughter died in died from a pulmonary embolism after she was turned away from an ER because she didn't have insurance, right? And that's really problematic. And then she gave this number. She said that 30,000 people die because of not having insurance every year. And if you do the math on that, based on our population, that is 0.00000. How many 0.0000056% of the population?
Roughly. It's a very low number.
Yeah, I think there's probably more trannies than there are people. You know what I'm saying? Just.
If you do not exceed the number of trap dick out there, you do not count.
Yeah, I was watching something else.
That's a woke take there.
It is woke as fuck, man, isn't it? Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
But and she was very emotional, Once again, a hallmark of propaganda is appealing to base emotions to further the rhetoric or to further the agenda of the said propagandist. Okay, it's not just in political parties. They use this shit in marketing.
Bro,
Tim
Tarbucks needs a wrench. What are you doing?
Tim Tarbucks wants a wrench.
Yeah, wrench lives matter. Also, we do have gaming and yelling in the chat. I've played some League with him. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
Yeah. Stone Monkey and
Stone Monkey, dude. What's happening?
Piccolo the Driving Ape Man is also here.
Yes. The 6K. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm lost in their conversation, but I hope they're having a good chat. We love you, and thank you for hanging with us on this deal. We're going an hour early because Brian is a good boyfriend.
My girlfriend's birthday is today.
That's right. He's a good boyfriend, and he's going to take her out to eat and spend a shitload of money on her. And then
I already did spend a shitload of money on her. He's going to get his present
when he gets home. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to fist her butt.
Indeed. All right, and so the lady in Nevada. Here's my deal. She gave these quotes, and the circumstances around her daughter's death are kind of nebulous. There's no details, but apparently she had just left a job or had been let go from a job, that had insurance, and she was still under the umbrella of the insurance, but she didn't know it. And then right after she died, the mom got a letter saying that she was eligible for what's known as COBRA, which is a continuation of benefits after you get fired or you're let go from a job, or if you're downsized, right? And that's a government thing that they have to do. So and I've got a sneaky suspicion that the person passed away because either A, ignorance,
they didn't know their rights,
or B, laziness. Those are only two viable answers I see.
Well, yeah. So you should always beware a story that you're told, especially when it comes to politics, when there's no facts in the story.
Well,
and
go ahead.
The problem is that the story that you hear is my daughter was sent to the hospital. They refused to do service on her. Well, first of all, I mean, I guess I live in California. Maybe it's different here, but I remember them not being able to refuse health care to anyone. That's a Hippocratic oath.
Right, and that's been pointed out, right? And, it was pointed out in the movie. It's been pointed out in I've read a bunch of reviews on this. I just wanted to get kind of a global approach to this because I wanted to be fair, as fair as possible on this deal. Because it's like I just don't want to shit on something because it looks like a toilet.
No.
I got to make sure it's a toilet before I sit on it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I'm not saying that she's wrong right now, and I'm not saying she's lying. What I'm saying is that her story doesn't have any, there's no dates, there's no time, there's nothing. Usually when somebody dies, it's my daughter died on the 19th of January, 2019. Yeah. It was the worst day of my life. And this is not uncommon. Even Michael Moore documentaries give you the dates. So I'm saying the documentary itself did a bad job because they should have asked these questions. That's something, if you're trying to figure out information, if you're trying to just get the story from this person, then you should get the full story and should have been like, hey, I need the rest of this. Where's the rest of this?
Oh, yeah. Piccolo's talking about the money that her boyfriend received as a, quote, staff member was it the election staff? If I remember correctly, that's what it was. And so, they made her give. I mean, you saw, it's interesting. I'm not going to get into that because it sounds racist, but I mean, she did have like the whitest, soyest boyfriend I've ever seen in my life.
He looks like me if I were tall and had hair again.
He's whiter than you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was ultra hipster, like, oh my god, do I have to go here?
Exactly. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is terrible. Yeah. I mean, fuck.
What up, Stone Mexican guy?
SMG! What up? So, where do we go from here? All right, we talked about the Vila lady. How about Cory Booker? No, that's not that.
Oh,
that's not her name. Cory
Busher.
Cory Bush.
Bush or Busher? Yeah.
Bush. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Like George W. Bush. Maybe she's related to him.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna go out on a limb. You could call me racist if you want, but the entire time I was watching her in this documentary, I felt like she was really, really making a huge plea to the black community the entire time. And I kind of feel, the way that she was talking, when she was talking in some of her interviews to her, her voter base, was like, yeah, we need to get what's ours. We need to do our thing. And I'm like, that's kind of racist,
check
though.
this shit out. Okay, all right. So the guy that she's running against is an incumbent Democratic congressman, right? And she is going around telling the people of their district that he's not even a New Yorker. He lives in Virginia. And I'm going, of course he fucking lives in Virginia because he's working in Washington, D.C. right now.
Yeah, no shit.
Right? He's got a thick New York accent. The dude's a New Yorker. Right? There was some disingenuous shit going on with that whole deal.
Definitely there was. But the thing... Look, if you're going to be a politician, you have to have broad appeal. That's just those are the rules. You have to be appealing to a large number of people because you need them to vote for you. And you cannot just appeal to one race of people. That doesn't work.
Right.
It won't get you elected. It looks bad. You know?
Yeah.
And both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans both have the same problem in the same aspect. Look at, what's that guy's name? Patrick Little or whatever, who ran for, I want to say, senator in California.
Right.
He's a little more extreme than that, but it's like you're really just cutting off most of your voter base by being that way. Hello?
Well, no. Yeah, I was thinking about what you were saying and trying to formulate a response to it because I totally agree with that. And it was like, and there's one section where she does this commercial, and I don't know, man. I think that it's like, you're probably right, man. To be honest, it's just the other side of the coin, trying to imitate what won the last election. You know what I'm saying? Hyperbolic candidates with hyperbolic rhetoric, and
well, I found that Cori Bush was the most hyperbolic of them.
Yeah, that whole BLM stuff. It's like, and I was surprised that she didn't get elected. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't. I really wasn't.
It tells you. I think it tells you what the common voter, today's voter, is a lot smarter than the fucking candidates and the PACs and all them fucktards think that they are. Okay, I think that voters have gotten to a point. Well, dude, you can only squeeze so much blood from a turnip. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, but like I said, I mean, I don't know about the district she was running in. I don't know if it was primarily African American, but if even if it's primarily African American
district.
Oh, yikes!
Who the fuck is Joyce Sparkles?
Even if it's primarily African American, right? And by primarily, I mean, let's say 55%.
Right.
Then you're still cutting off 45% of the people that can vote for you.
Right.
And you're not going to get all of the African American vote.
No.
It's just not how that works.
Right.
So she literally did the dumbest thing you could possibly do for your campaign. And you can see in the picture right there, black women are more than our vote. On her t-shirt. Like, you're putting up a racial bias on a fucking t-shirt as a politician. That is wrong.
And if it was the flip side and the converse was done, it would be labeled racism. Yes.
Oh yeah, it definitely would be. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be labeled racism. If you have a shirt that says "Here for the white people," it's racist as well.
Yeah, but the difference is that I don't give a fuck, right? As a white person, it's like people got the right to wear whatever they want to, and say whatever they want to. Unless
that's true, but
unless
I would not be so dumb as to vote for somebody like that.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. All right, and so
Buzz of the Hive.
Okay, let's talk about Swearingen real quick. What was her name? Betty Jean Swearingen or something like that. I didn't write her name down. I apologize. Go ahead.
Real quick, before we go too far, Buzz of the Hive wrote a very valid comment. When the people find that they can vote themselves money, that will herald the end. Oh, sorry, that will herald the end of the republic. That was Benjamin Franklin. He's absolutely right.
Voting for Santa Claus, right?
Exactly, and that's all we have now is voting for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not voting your own interest in this country, then you're not voting. Am I right? That's really the way things are going, which is kind of a summary of this whole documentary.
Yeah, look, I would be disingenuous if I didn't say to everybody right now, they're definitely trying to make this lady look like she's another Barack Hussein Obama, okay? And she ain't. In my opinion, Barack Obama was a political genius. He could literally take any topic and politicize it, flip it, boom, just like that, and create a winning argument that could be backed up by facts, right? I don't see a lot of this. I see a lot of twisting the truth and stuff, especially when they talk about receiving. All right, are you willing to receive corporate PAC money? Or are you really?
She did.
Well, that's the fucking point. It's like it's a PAC. The Justice Democrats is a PAC. The people that
whoa! Before we do that,
with is a PAC. Are you ready?
Why don't we go into AOC before we do that? Because that's. I mean, this is the.
You want to pull Brittany in for that, or?
Oh yeah. Let's do that. All right. Wow! We hit the 30-minute mark. We're impassioned.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
This was good for conversation, if nothing else, right?
It really is, yeah. Let's see here. God damn it. I have too many servers. I need to leave a bunch of servers. Brittany's in here.
Yes, she was in the room with us, and now she's out of the room, and now she's back in the room. I don't know.
If anyone else would like to join and talk about this.
Yes.
Realized I was muted. Sorry. Oops.
Feel free to. Do you mind if I give an invite, Irate?
Go for it.
Can I create it? How do I create it here?
I'll throw it in the chat.
Just fart it out.
Fart it out.
Okay.
So AOC, right? AOC is funded by the Justice Democrats. The Justice Democrats are working with the team that helped get Bernie Sanders to the presidential election in 2016. They are a super PAC. Both are super PACs, and just so everyone knows here, the founders of Justice Democrats are Cenk Uygur, Kyle Kulinski. If you know who Kyle Kuklinski is, and you've watched any of his stuff, holy shit, Kyle Kulinski is retarded. He's the dumbest person I think I've ever listened to on you. Well, no, I've listened to some of the flat earthers. I can't say that, I guess. But it's pretty bad because Kyle Kulinski doesn't know anything about economics at all, and you can't just be a social political guy. There's no you have to, if you understand anything about politics, you need to understand there are three major wings of politics. There's social, there's economics, and there's foreign affairs. And if you can't comment on the other two without sounding like a retard, maybe you shouldn't be in that game.
Exactly.
Agreed.
There's Saya Kachakargarbi, I can't say her name, and Zach Egsley. Zach Egsley, I believe, is also the person who founded MoveOn.org fundraisers, and I believe he had something to do with this film, didn't he?
I'm not exactly
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah. So MoveOn.org, we know who that's funded by. I knew this shit would go back to George Soros at some point.
It's sort of weird that they've got all this. They've got a lot. Okay, so they had 8,300 donations, and that came out to about 1,250,000 in disbursements, mostly going towards AOC because she was the most likely to succeed.
Her campaign.
No. That's it went to it went to the four we're looking at right now.
Well, you know they had like 40 people at the beginning. All those people that you see at the beginning of the video, they're all justice candidates.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And these are probably the four that did the best. Or the ones that they I think they didn't want any men. They wanted this to be women's because grabbing.
They didn't run any men at all. I'm looking right now. I'm looking at who they ran. I may have lied. I think they did run one man.
There's an Indian guy and I think another not white person. So,
There's
that doesn't matter, but it's still like
Ben Todd Jealous, who won at a 39% primary and then lost in the general. That was one of their candidates. They had Matt Brown. He lost. But that's it. Lieutenant Governor. They had Aaron. There's no gender on that one, so I don't know if that's a man Aaron or a woman Aaron. But they have mostly women. It's primarily women that ran for them, and they actually have quite a few wins in the primaries, and then not very many wins in the general.
I think the only one that won was the AOC. I think she's the only one that won the election.
That's actually incorrect. Under U.S. House.
Okay.
There's Raul Miguel. I can't even say that last name. It's Grijalva. He won with 63% in the general election for Arizona 3rd Congressional District.
Right.
Ro Kahan won with 73% in California's 17th district.
Oh yeah, and that there's a Arabic lady that won too. That's right.
Ayanna Presley won with 98% in Massachusetts 7th district. Ilhan Omar is Justice Democrats, by the way.
I didn't think she was.
78% win. Radish Tilbar, 84% win. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 78% win. Which should tell you who they're pumping most of their money into, because all these other people, they won. They won, and they're not as publicized by far.
Right.
They've also got Pralima Jayapala, who won with 83% in Washington's 7th district.
You're looking at the Justice Democrat side?
Justice Democrats, yeah. Which is, by the way, who funded all of this. And you gotta wonder, because when you're watching the documentary, there is camera footage throughout the entire thing, from beginning to end. From when AOC signs on with Justice Democrats to the end of it. So, it really begs the question, where did they get all their funding to do this? Why do they have a camera crew around the entire time?
Specifically with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it would have been a win-win for them had their documentary gone sour where nobody won at all. They would have been like, hey, this is why women don't get elected. Right. That could have been their thing. But
I don't think so.
Why? Why are you making this documentary at such a beginning point? It's so weird.
I seriously think that they think that she's the next Obama. I really do.
It would have been one thing if they documented how how someone gets elected into in a politics position.
Absolutely.
But that's not what they did.
Well, and here's the deal. They put out like on their website. They put out like a call, it wasn't a casting call, but what they said was, send us, if you think you're part of this thing, then join us, and and then out of that, people were recommended, by people like Cortez was recommended by her brother for them to look. I'm not going to call it an audition, but that's kind of what it sounded like to me.
Oh yeah, it definitely did sound like an audition.
Yeah. So, and they did that with all those candidates, which I thought was interesting.
I mean, I understand auditioning your candidates. They do that with all the other politics. Republican Party, Democrat Party, doesn't matter. Who gets into the primaries is who gets auditioned via the party and gets chosen, really. In fact, if you really think about it, we don't actually choose who we get to vote for.
No, we don't.
The parties do.
No.
So, not super democratic there. I'm just saying.
We're a republic. We're a representative republic.
We are a republic, yeah.
We're not a democracy. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Is that
we're a democratic republic.
No, I don't think so.
Well, we are, because you still vote for who your president is. You just don't get to pick
Korea
who the
is a
candidates
democratic republic. That's what they call themselves, the Democratic Republic, People's Republic of Korea.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want. If we're going to be realistic about this, we're an oligarchy.
Yeah.
You pay money, you win. That's how this works.
Yes. I totally agree with that.
This is true, yeah.
And and I see the vilification of lobby money or special interest money. I think that at this point, the way that, see, man, we're dealing with the system that's so entrenched. Trust me, AOC can be in Congress for 30 years, and you know what's going to happen? She's going to get rich. That's it. I doubt
that's true.
I doubt if anything will get done. But they always.
You never know.
Well, all right. So you take like somebody. I did the God, what was her name? Maxine Waters, right? And her net worth before she was elected was a certain amount, and 10 years after elected, it's like 20 times the money that she had. So,
oh no!
And I'm not.
Oh no!
What?
The poster for what's her name? The coal miner's daughter.
Yeah.
By the way, writing on your dead dad's legacy is pretty fucked.
Yeah.
It's all about the black lung and shit, and it's like, come on, y'all! You work in a coal mine, you're gonna breathe coal dust. I mean,
yeah. I'm looking at her poster that you got in the background there.
Yeah.
It looks like a Mao Zedong poster.
Oh, no, it does.
We got this. Yeah. I think the slogan that they were going with.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so, we're 45 minutes in, and we've pretty much bitched about the politics of this. Go for it.
Sofa's awesome.
Do we know the how much they did for this documentary? How much money went into this documentary?
That's a good question.
Why don't we look it up right now? IMDb.
Yeah. I couldn't find anything on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm going to show the Rotten Tomatoes score as the last part of our deal. And it's in your DMs, Brian.
You're gonna bias them, irate. You're gonna bias them.
Well, I just want to, look, the critics cannot be denied.
This is true.
Right? They tell us what's good and what we should see, and I trust them. Like I trust.
Oh boy.
Like I trust an Arab.
Ooh, how much money?
In a bomb vest.
$3 million.
Well, this is no as with the tradition of all Netflix movies, because this is Netflix original.
Exactly.
They do not post the amount that was spent on production.
Yep.
Which is a little weird.
It's very. See, everything they do that shit. I'm sure you can find it. You have to just dig. You know, IMDb obviously agreed not to carry. Oh, we won't tell them. It's okay.
We won't tell them it's $3 million.
To be honest, it's like the person or who's behind it is usually the person that makes out the IMDb anyway.
Well, it'd be more than $3 million.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh wow. Okay, Netflix acquired the distribution rights of the film for $10 million.
Oops.
God damn. Oh well.
Jesus.
Well, it's like I said, man. This looks like something that I believe people are going to believe will be lauded for years, right? Because the great Savior was delivered to us, and this documentary captures that delivery, right?
Yeah, you never look at her straight forward. You always look at her facing up.
And that's
interesting.
No. Why do you think they did that, Brittany? What's your assessment on that?
To make her seem like a superhero.
Right?
Just like in Avengers and all the superhero movies.
Right.
They're always looked at. You're always looking up at them. They consider her a hero.
So what did you all right, Brittany, did you notice the clothes and makeup she was using?
Yes. She was the makeup was very natural. It was very much, her hair was always straight, always perfect, never messy. Even with her family.
Yeah.
Her clothes were very nice, pristine. Most likely name brand. I don't know.
The clothes look expensive to me.
Yes, they were very expensive.
Well, just so you're aware of this this image that they're giving of this woman being a bartender for 18 hours a day and everything. I did a little bit of research. Before you give
that, I want you to know that this movie illustrates that she is a brilliant at making salty dogs, which is basically grapefruit juice and vodka. Just wanted to get that out of the way because it's this mixology, man.
Yeah, bro. You gotta up your game. Okay. Let's see here. After college, Ocasio-Cortez moved back from the Bronx and took a job working 18-hour shifts as a bartender and waitress to help her mother, a house cleaner and school bus driver, fight foreclosure of their home. She did do that. But also, at the same time, somehow working 18-hour days, she launched Brook Avenue Press, which is a publishing firm for books that portray the Bronx in a positive light. Also, she worked as leader of educational strategist GAGE is the acronym, GAGE, IS. I don't know why the IS is not capitalized, Incorporated. Also, Ocasio-Cortez also worked as for a nonprofit Hispanic institution, serving an educational director of 2017 Northeast Coalition.
She was already planning on becoming a politician.
World Series. Yeah. So think about this. This whole time she's working these 18-hour shifts, but also she's doing all these other jobs.
Oh, no,
I don't know about you.
Stop.
That's not possible.
Stop. All right. 18 hours, that leaves 6 hours to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? Really, at least 4 hours to sleep. An hour to wind down and then go to sleep, and then an hour to get up, drink coffee, take a shit, shower, shave, right? And then go to work.
Yeah.
All right. So 4 hours of sleep, all right? But then that 4 hours...
I wasn't even done.
It sounds like she's on drugs or something, man. That's the only way I can see that shit happening. Keep going.
Well, the only way I can see this shit happening is if she doesn't really work as a bartender 18 hours a day.
Yeah, not even on drugs. Jesus.
Surprise! Snap.
Surprise! Yeah, I feel like it was a publicity stunt. Like, she showed up a couple of times, and then they made it part of the movie, and they were like, look, she's normal, even though... her mother did clean houses for a living. That's absolutely right. You know what happens when you clean houses in a really rich neighborhood? You're also really rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when her father made a ton of money. They weren't living in the poor area of the Bronx.
She went to an art school. She's a pianist, all right? She was trained on piano, and she went to a high school for the arts, which is, those things are A, hard to get into, and B, very expensive, okay? Her dad was a businessman that made money. She grew up in an upper middle class area, right? She had just moved back to that area of the Bronx, right? Right when all this shit started. Just conveniently. Right?
Also, I want to mention that, remember, Brian, we were looking up when she started her job and when she ended her job?
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it?
Yeah, we couldn't find it at all.
Wow.
Nope.
On top of that, so you got to be really wary when you can't find information about someone.
Right.
That's bad news bears. But on top of that,
go ahead.
Hold on. Yes.
No, please.
On top of that, when we tried to look up a debate between her and Joe Crowley, who was the person she ran up against, we couldn't find anything using Google. All we could find were the MSNBC and CNNs of the world that were saying one side of the story. So then I go to Bing, and the third thing that came up was an unedited version of their debate. And I watched it, and what did you think of that debate, Brittany?
Well, first of all, the quality was shit, surprisingly. It was on this news channel that was, you can tell was had a lot of money put into it, and the quality of that video was just complete and utter shit.
Yeah.
It kept flickering. The lighting was all weird.
No. I meant about the content of the video.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to state that first because I thought that was
okay. Yeah.
And also, in the documentary, they made him look like an idiot and a jackass. Where when you watch that debate, she was actually the idiot and the jackass.
Well, and then there's another debate or a town hall that they do where he accuses her of associating with some murderer or some shit, and she spins the argument into something else, right? About the bar, about hanging out in the bar. The way she says it is pretty, it's like very telling. And it's not very sophisticated either. She's not she's a shitty liar.
And also,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Please.
Also, in the documentary, she focused on the fact that he's always focusing on Trump, and he should be focused on New York. And in that, it was quite the opposite.
What did she do when she got into fucking office? Orange man bad. Jesus. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brittany. That's a great point. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So on a 1 to 10 scale, I rate, how would you rate this documentary?
As propaganda, I'd give it a 12. As something entertaining to watch, I give it a 3. Just
I was pretty entertained.
For giggles. I wasn't. I was. Yeah, I don't know, man. It felt like somebody had their hand up my butt.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? While I was watching it.
Look, I gotta say, depending, if you're really into politics, I would really, really suggest that you watch this. And the reason I suggest that you watch this, whether or not you are Democrat, Republican, Socialist, Authoritarian, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to watch these things because you need to know what is convincing those that you are either with or against. You need to know. If you are into politics, you should never stray away from watching something that gives you information about politicians, whether or not you agree with them.
Well, and then so as because it's propaganda, right? And the way that that it's done. So I totally concur with that. I don't know. It was just I recommend that people do see it, but to get an accurate picture, I wouldn't recommend it if you want to watch something that will. I mean, it's like even as a documentary, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Come on.
No, definitely not.
No, I've seen, you know, it's like, and I've seen indie docs, man, that were fucking riveting about shit that I didn't even care about.
I am going to say that the cinematography on this is a solid 10 out of 10.
Not bad. Yeah. No, it was good.
They did. She did a great job with her angles. She knew what she was doing. She clearly has gone to, you know, film school and
I don't think she's as stupid as everyone thinks she is, to be honest.
AOC,
I'm talking about
the film.
Yes.
I'm talking about the filmmaker.
Oh.
Yeah, the filmmaker.
Yeah, I was talking about.
Yeah, she definitely studied the great propagandists.
Yes.
Because she did have some good chops. I'll say that for sure.
And the music that they tied into it, where it's like the heartwarming motivational music as you look at AOC, and then it switches over to Joe Crowley, dun dun dun,
But you know, that was real subtle. I noticed that. I always listen to the soundtrack, man. That's a huge thing with me because, you know, creating mood is you know, in a subliminal fashion. You know, is what music is there for and what it does. That's why I play it in the background. Also to like hide dead air and shit. But you know, that's pretty much it. So, Brian, what's your grade?
My grade, I'm gonna be honest, as a film, this is probably it wasn't terrible. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 as a film. For the educational value of it, definitely not as good. But you know, that's a pretty neutral. So I would say if you're a Democrat and you watch this and you agree with the things she says, you probably would give this a 9 out of 10. And if you're a Republican and you watch this and you completely and utterly disagree with everything she says, then you're probably going to give it a 1 out of 10. But in reality, it's just subpar. It's a 6 out of 10. Yeah. It's not... 7 out of 10 is average. Anything below 5 is just degrees of shit of badness. And this is just... It's milquetoast at best. It's milquetoast propaganda. So that's why I'm not giving it anything lower than a 5. Because quality was there. You got to give it to them. For some reason, they had enough funding to have a quality film prior to her ever being elected or even being in a primary.
They must have got the right donations at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
Weird. Yeah.
Weird.
Well, shit. In this last couple of minutes before we go, because I want to get Brian out of here right on time because he's a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
He is a good guy.
Bought my girlfriend a TV.
Oh, wow.
Woohoo.
Damn. So you can watch this again.
Yes, on a 55.
Next week we're going to watch a Netflix original called "Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile," which is
I saw that.
Yeah, Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. So if anything else, because we did the Ted Bundy tapes thing, this will be a companion piece for that, I believe, and I think that. There's going to be plenty to talk about. I've been getting a buzz off of that, from it too. All right. So, Brian, you got anything you want to shill out before we split it, Kate?
Yeah. I'm doing a video on how to cook filet mignon right now, and then I feed it to my dog.
Oh, okay.
Bravo, brother. Bravo.
I know.
Tomorrow night is Cream Stream 83. And Sunday I'll be interviewing Chaos Eve, a fascinating person from my neck of the woods-ish. So not necessarily my real neck of the woods, but so it's always fellow Southerners. We just got a thing with each other. It's a thing. So I can't explain it, but yeah, we should have fun with that. Brittany, what about you? You got anything coming up besides your yeast?
Yeah, besides my yeast, Breadney. I am Breadney. No, not really, but I still have a deal going on. If you want avatars, small avatars, they're $25.
Sounds good.
Woohoo.
And on that note, this is Irate Prostate saying, I guess we're going to be OUT for this show, and we'll end with an ad.
Every week on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, the Cream Stream, the weekly world news for YouTube. Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern, the Ice Cream Interviews, fascinating people. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, Hot Takes with the Butter Baron, watching horrible shit so you don't have to. Subscribe to Irate Prostate now.